Hi everyone. I decided I would try something a little different for my newsletter, putting it in video format instead of putting it on paper. And so in this letter I want to give you an overview of some of the projects that I've been doing over the last couple months with Campus for Christ. My team and I are really excited to be where we're at because several of these projects are coming to completion all at the same time. And so I want to outline two of those for you. Now each project centers around a concept called leading with information. Now that means that part of my job is finding ways to provide our leaders with the information they need to make good decisions. So to give you an example of that, our leaders have gotten together this semester on a number of occasions to discuss the goals they want to set for the next 5 years. And one of those goals is increasing our presence from our current 30 campuses across Canada to 60, with most of those new campuses being student-led. Now, ordinarily, with a staff presence, it's easy to get an understanding of how healthy these ministries are, how many students are involved, and that sort of thing. But if we don't have a frequent, regular staff presence on many of these campuses, how do we collect that information? Well, this is what I want to demonstrate to you, some of the ways that we're able to do that. Okay, so the first project that I want to illustrate for you is a new budgeting and planning process for the campus ministry. Traditionally, our ministry has worked in a rather decentralized way, with each team being responsible for its own budget, as well as raising its own operating income each year. But our desire now is for a more cohesive process that brings that together. The natural solution for us was a product called Google Docs. It's something we have already been using for a couple of years now. It's an office software suite that's web-based rather than desktop-based, which provides some great advantages over more traditional ways of thinking. The first advantage is several people can edit a document simultaneously from different locations, which is so often the case for our staff, and so there's no need to send versions back and forth over email. And the second major feature is the ability to port data together from up to 50 different spreadsheets into a single document. This gives our leaders the information they need at a glance in order to make these good decisions that I was talking about. So for instance, how much money are we spending across the country? And therefore, how much do we need in order to anticipate those costs? How many students are we expecting to expose to the gospel? And so at a glance we can say, okay, in 5 years' time we want to be here. Are we asking God for big enough things this year in order to get there? So then we can go back to our staff and say, hey, you need to aim higher, or hey, those are great goals, go for it. And so with all this information easily accessible by our leaders, we can also support and finance the work we're doing in a much more unified way. And so now this template I created is not merely a budgeting tool, it also reflects our traditional planning philosophy and is intended to help our students and staff plan better. And so I was happy to hear some feedback from our Toronto team leader, Archie Kenyon, who said, "This is the perfect balance of tracks to run on and freedom to be creative, the best strategic planning process ever." Now, is it possible for a student to fill in a spreadsheet like this too? Well, most certainly. So even on the many unstaffed campuses that we hope to have in the future, student leaders can easily be a part of this process too. So the second project that I want to show you is called the Pulse. The Pulse is our way of managing the day-to-day of campus ministry. So one of the most important features of it, and one of the main reasons we created it, is it's a place where students can sign up for a small group, and they can even do that through Facebook. So it creates a nice social invitational environment for them to invite their friends to be involved. Student leaders can also manage their small groups. They can email them, they can find their phone numbers so they can get in touch with them. As staff, we can collect a lot of this information. It's not just information about small groups, it's also indicated decisions. Who's going to the conference in December, who's going away on a summer project. And for the indicated decisions in particular, there's actually a story associated with each one of these, so we know that it's not just a number. These are, individuals who, God is working through, and there's a story for that person's life. And one of the things that we hope to see more and more of is, students taking this software to, uncharted territory, places we haven't been before. It's like a web-based admin assistant that any student can bring to a campus and have a structured ministry. And so this is what we want to see. We want to see this tool go beyond what we're able to control, because we know that God is always going to be there ahead of us, to do His redemptive work. And one great example of this, my team leader, Russ Martin, recently made a visit to Thailand, where he met with a tech leader in the Thai ministry. And he saw this software that we had produced, and he said, we need something like that for Thailand. Can you help us out? So as you can see, this tool here can actually bless nations all around the world, and so that is what we hope to do in the future. So I hope that gives you a sense for what I mean by leading with information, and also a sense for what I do as part of my team, and what our team does as part of the ministry nationally. Now on to a slightly different topic. In May and June I will get to do some traveling of my own to Uganda as part of one of our summer missions projects. And we'll be doing some traditional campus ministry and with a humanitarian component. I'll be departing on April 27th, returning on June 18th. Our ministry already exists there, and so our focus will be helping the students see the bigger picture of the Great Commission and how they can be involved in it. We'll take them out, do some evangelism on their own campus, show them how to have a deeper walk with Christ, and also challenge them to go, to reach out to other African countries with the gospel. There is a financial cost as part of this project that is over and above my normal cost of being on staff, and so I'm hoping to raise another $2,500 to meet the needs of this project. I ask that you would prayerfully consider how you might partner with me in this venture. And if you're someone who likes to pray, I would ask specifically that you would focus on the humility of our Canadian team of staff and students as we seek to serve the Ugandans and bring our skills and experience to the table. Finally, thank you for reading my letter.